Los Angeles, 1947, a city of glamour, secrets, and shadows. On a cold January morning, the city would soon be shaken by a gruesome discovery that would haunt it for decades to come. This is the story of Elizabeth Short, better known as the Black Dalia, a story of dreams, tragedy, and a murder that remains one of the most infamous unsolved crimes in American history. January 15th, 1947. Early morning. A woman named Betty Bersinger was walking through a quiet neighborhood in South Los Angeles with her child. She noticed something unusual in an empty lot. A broken mannequin, it seemed. But as she walked closer, her heart froze in horror. It wasn't a mannequin at all. It was a woman's body, severed in two pieces, lying in the dirt. The body belonged to Elizabeth Short, and her brutal murder would soon shock the entire nation. Before she became a dark legend, Elizabeth Short was just a young woman with dreams. Born in 1924 in Medford, Massachusetts, she grew up in a troubled household but always yearned for something bigger, something brighter. At just 18, she left for California, chasing the same dream that countless others had pursued, a life in Hollywood. Elizabeth, or Beth, as her friends called her, was strikingly beautiful, with jet black hair and a magnetic presence. She wanted to be a star, to make it in a city known for fame and fortune. But beneath the sparkle of Hollywood was a darker reality, one that would soon consume her. In the months leading up to her death, Beth's life was far from glamorous. She struggled to find work, often broke and drifting from place to place. She relied on the kindness of strangers and the fleeting attention of men who promised her a better life. In the final weeks, Beth was seen in the company of various men, but her movements in the days before her murder remain a mystery. On January the 9th, 1947, Beth vanished from sight. What happened in those missing days? Who was she with? No one knew. But soon, her disappearance would end in one of the most horrifying crimes the city had ever seen. When police arrived at the scene where Beth's body was found, even the most seasoned detectives were left stunned. Her body had been mutilated in a way that shocked the nation. She had been severed at the waist, her face slashed into a grotesque smile, and her blood drained from her body. The press quickly dubbed the case the Black Dalia murder, inspired by Beth's dark hair and mysterious persona. The media frenzy began, and soon, Elizabeth Short's tragic death became front-page news. The brutality of Beth's murder sent shockwaves through Los Angeles. The city was gripped by fear, and the press turned the case into a spectacle. Every man who had crossed paths with Elizabeth was now a suspect. Rumors spread like wildfire. Detectives questioned hundreds of people, but every lead seemed to hit a dead end. She had been involved with so many men, yet none seemed to have a motive for such a heinous act. As more suspects were brought in for questioning, the case seemed to grow colder by the day. But the horror was far from over. Then, a chilling twist. The Los Angeles Examiner received a letter from someone claiming to be Beth's killer. The letter was composed of newspaper clippings, with the sender referring to themselves as the Black Dalia Avenger. To prove his claim, the killer sent some of Beth's personal belongings, including her birth certificate. The taunting messages only deepened the mystery. Was the killer trying to mislead the police, or was this truly the man responsible for her death? The detectives were left frustrated. The killer seemed to be playing a twisted game, one that left no easy answers. Theories began to swirl around the city. Some believed Beth's killer was a doctor or surgeon, given the precision with which her body was dismembered. Others whispered about a conspiracy involving high society figures, people in positions of power who could easily cover up the truth. One of the most notorious suspects was Dr. George Hodel, a wealthy physician with a dark past. Hodel was known for his eccentric and disturbing behavior. Years later, his own son, Steve Hodel, a former LAPD detective, would claim that his father had confessed to the murder. But despite this chilling allegation, no concrete evidence ever linked Hodel directly to the crime. And so, The mystery of who killed Elizabeth Short remained unresolved. As the years passed, the Black Dahlia case grew colder. Over 60 people confessed to the murder, yet none of their stories matched the gruesome reality of what had happened to Elizabeth Short. Detectives pursued every lead, but the trail seemed to disappear into the shadows. The case files grew dusty, and the investigation eventually came to a standstill. To this day, the identity of the Black Dahlia's killer remains a mystery, leaving behind more questions than answers. Today, the streets of Los Angeles carry the memory of the Black Dahlia, even though her name has become synonymous with one of Hollywood's darkest moments. The site where her body was found is now just another patch of land, but the legend of Elizabeth Short continues to haunt the city. What happened to Elizabeth on that fateful night in 1947? Who took her life in such a brutal fashion? We may never know, but what remains clear is that her story, both in life and in death, has left an indelible mark on Hollywood's history. Elizabeth Short came to Los Angeles with dreams of fame, but what she found was something far darker. She will forever be remembered not as the starlet she hoped to become, but as a symbol of the city's hidden dangers and the fragility of life beneath the glitz and glamour of Hollywood. The Black Dahlia's story, tragic, unsolved, and unforgettable, lives on as one of the most haunting and enduring mysteries in the world of true crime. If you found this story captivating, make sure to subscribe for more chilling, true crime tales and unsolved mysteries. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think happened to the Black Dahlia? Do you believe the case will ever be solved?